Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Cardboard Commander. My name is Jerry, and today is episode number 29 of the Zone of Control podcast. So I want to thank you guys for coming in and checking it out. This is a recorded version as I will be out of the house on Thursday, so I have to record this on today, which is Wednesday afternoon. But I do appreciate you guys checking us out. Next week, we should be doing a live version on the road. But until then, today, we're just going to do a recorded version. That being said, you guys know the routine. We're trying to do this 45, 55 minutes, talk about anything and everything that I can come up with for war games and maybe some other stuff too. It just depends on how the whole situation's going. I do appreciate your guys' support. Please give us a thumbs up, do all that YouTube stuff, everything that you can to help promote the channel. We're almost at 1,400 subscribers, and really do want to continue growing the channel. So I appreciate your help there. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to start off with what we're going to talk about. We've got some opening comments. We're going to talk about rally the troops, the Wargame League. We're going to go over a chapter in Mark's book, Wargames According to Mark. We're going to start learning Combat Volume 3 together, and then we'll talk about Trench Raid and what's going on next week and all that sort of thing. So sit back, get a drink. I'm a Diet Coke guy myself. And let's sit back and try to see what we can do this week. So the first thing we're going to talk about is some opening comments. So a couple things that I want to hit on here is I've been watching a bunch of Civil War stuff on YouTube, and I have to say that if you guys get a chance, you should really check out Hex to Hex. These guys talk some pretty in-depth stuff about the American Civil War, and they do a great job on breaking it down in layman's terms for you to understand. This episode is online now. You can hear it. They talk about GBACW, Blind Swords, and Black Swan. GBACW is intriguing to me, but I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I think it's a little too much. I've already played ASL. I don't need to get into another very, very crunchy game. Blind Swords is great. But the one I've been kind of looking at playing now is the Black Swan series from Flying Pig. You guys can see all the games down there. But yeah, if you're interested in the Civil War games, these guys are great, and they do a fantastic job at communicating about our hobby in that sense of the area. Another thing I want to talk about is I really do appreciate the fact that you all are reaching out to me and wanting to play games, and we're getting to play some games. So that's really cool. I've had some people offer to send me games to do reviews on. Guys, here's my situation on that is I will accept them if it's games that I want to play and I feel like I can do some due diligence for. I've been recently, people have been sending me or wanting to send me games on new designs and that sort of thing, and they're outside of the realm of what I really want to deal with. And so I've just been polite and canceled. But I want to be able to, if I get a game from somebody and they are honoring me by sending me the game, I want to do them the same honor by playing it, learning it, talking about it, having them on, maybe just all that sort of thing. So again, if you do reach out to me and I decline, it's nothing personal. It's just I want to do the best job I can for you, and meaning the game designer and the game company and that sort of thing. I do also want to thank folks who are sending me stuff. I've got a couple dice towers that I'm going to be showing you a little later in a couple other shows, but really do appreciate all that. And this whole community is pretty amazing, and it's humbling to see you guys doing all this cool stuff. Let's see, what else have we got going on? I am playing Combat. It's lined up right over there. It's already in the works. We're going to go over some of that today. Getting ready to slow down, so we're going to be playing a little more games. I've talked to Jester. I'm trying to nail down a time that we can play with him. My schedule, once I'm done, I've got one more motorcycle event in the first week of October, and once that's done, I'm good to go, and I can play for the most part. So just trying to set up some games. I've got a Combat Commander ladder game I'm going to be playing next Monday, and I need to get that played before I go out of town next week. So this week I'm going out of town, leaving tomorrow, doing some camping. I'll kind of show you guys when I get back what we're doing there. Then I'm home for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I leave again on Thursday and won't be back home until the next Friday because of a motorcycle event and that sort of thing. So I'm a pretty big into a group called Motorcycle Sport Touring Association, and we have our big annual national rally in Williamsport, Pennsylvania in the next couple of weeks. So that's all I got for opening comments. Keep sending me comments, folks. Another thing is the Discord channel is starting to pick up some steam. I really would like to get more people involved in the Facebook page, kind of like what TACUP does. So I'm trying to figure out how to get people who subscribe to things like TACUP to come over to the Combat Commander thing. I'm trying to do some things to get people interactive. So give me some ideas. Would you guys like, maybe we set up I don't know, a book club or a game club. Maybe we pick a game or a genre or a battle, and we all, hey, the month of September is this game, and if you can play one, that's great. And then we can talk about it. I don't know. Give me some ideas, folks, on what you guys would like to see on the Facebook page. But that's Cardboard Commander on Facebook, Instagram, all these stuff, right? All the social media stuff. So Rally the Troops. If you guys have not seen or have not played on Rally the Troops, they now have Paths of Glory, which is awesome. Really do. As you guys know, I'm a big fan of that game. But I would like to play a game of this, and so if you guys, if there's anybody out there who would like to play a game of that on Rally the Troops, hit me up. If you guys haven't seen it online yet, it looks like this. So the way these are just games that are going on, but we'll just click on one. I need to log in, so I'll log in. And then we'll go back, and now we'll click in here and see what we can do here. So again, you can click on any of the games. You can kind of see what's going on. If you hit watch, then you can kind of go in, and all the things that are on the right here, you can kind of see what they've played and everything. But if you guys are interested in playing, I would love to play this with you. I've never played a game on Rally the Troops, so I would be learning with you. But I do think it's one of those things that would be worth our time to do. So hit me up if you guys are interested in anything like that. But this looks really, really interesting to me. So looking forward to doing that. The Wargame League. So this is another thing that I just found out about, I think, last week. And I'll kind of show you what we're talking about here. So this is, you can click on the Wargame League, and it's wargameleague.com. And they have different games that they have ladder games that you can play. So one of the ones I'm interested in is any of the 40 games. So we're going to say Salerno. So there's actually a ladder that you can play, and you can join in. I'm going to be sending my thing to join in and trying to play. They've got rules set just for that scenario. They tell you which, and then they give you everything that you need to start playing the game at the beginning. There's looks like there's 24, 25 people playing on the game. But the Wargame League, this looks pretty interesting. I'm going to try to. They've got coin games that you can play, and then they've got other GMT games that you can play. They've got some classic games on here. So Breakout Normandy would be one that I think I wouldn't mind checking out and playing on here. Again, I just need to read the rules and see exactly how to do that. But there are lots of options to playing online, and it's really cool that we have those options. I do know there's some things on Facebook. Ted Brayton does a thing for Western Front Ace. He's going to be doing a British tank ace one, and there's a couple other things online too. So yeah, just in case you guys were looking to get interactive with other people to play, I think that would be one of the ways that you could do that, and it would make it kind of interesting for everybody to hang out with. So I don't know about you guys, but I bought the Mark Herman's book, Wargames According to Mark, and I've read it one time, and now I'm kind of going through it again and kind of research it. And you know how you always kind of go back and you always see things differently on the game. Well, I've got the book in front of me, and I have decided that we're going to kind of do a book club thing. And I'm not going to look, we're not going to read the whole book, but I'm going to take a chapter and I'm going to take little snippets of what Mark said, and I'm going to kind of discuss it on here, what my thoughts are, and maybe what your guys' thoughts are. You could leave the comments down below. But we'll see how you guys like this. If you like this idea, maybe we can expand on it. But if you guys haven't got the book, go get the book for one thing. It's really nicely done. Very, very nice production, and it's a great read. So you should check that. Sorry, I went the wrong direction. I hit the space bar. Didn't mean to do that. So with that being said, I'm going to read you a passage here, and then we're going to kind of talk about it. And it's going to be quick, folks. You don't have to worry about it. So one of the foundational pillars of our hobby is creating games that generate an alternative or an alternate historical narrative that encompass and includes the historical narrative, given that counterfactual history is by its very nature ahistorical. So I guess what I'm taking from here is look, we all like historical war games for a reason, right? We know what happened in history. But I think that Mark is saying that he likes to design games that you can play and you can form your own narrative. You don't necessarily have to play exactly like history. That's the fun of the games, right? Otherwise, you just read a book about it. And I have to agree. I really like games that we all know the history of a certain war game, but I, for one, like the idea of, well, hey, maybe if I did this, or maybe if they had done this, we could have, and look, sometimes you find out very quickly on why it didn't happen that way in history. Or, you may find out, wow, man, maybe if they had done it this way, we could have, things could have been a little different. And he also writes, I think of war games as interactive history. When I design a war game, I'm trying to do several things, but first and foremost, I'm putting you into the historical narrative. So that's a key to any good war game, right? Is getting you involved into the game and into what's happening and into trying to change the outcome of what you already know happened. That's why we play historical games. We know what happened for the most part, but maybe we can change it. Within that narrative, I am balancing kinetic and psychological history. Kinetic history is getting the physical force, space, and time factors correctly integrated into the game system or simulation, right? So that means making sure the right troops are there, making sure the maps are pretty accurate, making sure that things that happened in the battle are there and that the right equipment's there, and, the foundation of the game is all taken care of. That's what I take from that. Then it says, think of this as the science aspect of the game. So that's the basic science part of it. Getting these physical values integrated into a simulation engine are necessary for any good war game, but they are always insufficient if one wants to correctly capture the context of actual events. So you can have the right pieces and everything in place, but things happen in war, right? There's a fog of war to things, and weather, communication, inter-service rivalries. There's a whole bunch of things that come into play. One commander doesn't like another commander. You assume that one person's doing something and not doing something. So all those things, the science can all be there. The pieces can all be correct. The type of equipment can all be correct. The maps can be correct, but you can never take into the fact of what the fog of war is. And part of that is, so then he writes, psychological history is what is often lacking in many war games. The absence of psychological factors means the players are just going through the physical motions of the event as informed by hindsight. So basically he's saying, look, if we didn't have any psychological history, we would just run through the game like it happened. And then I don't know. I think what he's trying to say is it really a game? You could read about it, you could watch a movie, you could do, documentary and get the same thing out of it. So part of that is he wants to get us involved into the game. Designers too often restrict player actions through special rules, victory points, or conditions to shoehorn the design into following the historical narrative, while glossing over the real tensions that restricted the actions of the participants and drove their behavior in the original situation. So that, there are some games that, Paths of Glory, right? The first beginning of that game, the first turn attacks are set out for you. You've got to do them by that thing, and because that kind of kickstarts the game. I don't know if I've ever played a game that just tells you, hey, you need to do this turn, you need to do this turn. But I think the reason being is I don't know if I would play a game like that, because to me, it's not a game. Now you're just kind of pushing counters around to reenact what happened on the battlefield. So Mark writes, to illustrate these two design dimensions, I will examine Washington's defense during the American Civil War and their impact on the Union strategy. Even a cursory reading of the official records of the rebellion, the congressionally mandated publication for all American Civil War military correspondence, has numerous messages from Lincoln to McClellan, McDonald, and to Pope, to state just a few, about his focused concern that the Union capital be properly protected. Support for my thesis occurred during the Peninsula Campaign, when Lincoln perceived that McClellan had played an accounting game on him in regard to the number of soldiers left to defend Washington. His response was to cancel McClellan's orders to McDowell's Corps and effectively remove those forces from the 7-day battle equation. So again, how do you in a war game do you put in that? And that's all the reading I'm going to do for you guys today. But how do you put that part of the game into place? And so I'm asking you guys, what games do you guys play that you feel that is in place? Because look, there are some games that you've got Civil War, you got to protect Washington, right? There's certain things that you have to do. And how does one way having to do that without telling you to do that, right? And so what games do you guys play do you like to have a game that says, look, this is rigid because it happened in history. You can move all these other peripherals around, but this is what you got to do. Or would you like the idea of just being able to go around and play as much as you can and try to do whatever you can? And if your opponent decides to leave Washington open and loses the game immediately, is that take away from the fun of the game to you? So again, we're going to be looking at some of the chapters in this book, but that's just the first thing, is just getting off do you have to have a historically correct game to make it a fun war game? I think you have to have some history to guide you, but I want to be in the narrative and I want to be making decisions and that sort of thing. So tell me what you guys think. Are you on the same page? Do you think I'm full of crap? Let me know what you guys think. And let me know if you guys like this idea of the military book club, or if you'd like it to go in a different direction, or would you like it where we pick a book and we talk about it or whatever? I don't know. What do you guys want to do? Let me know what's going on. So now here's the fun part of today. So I want to play the first scenario in the Combat Series, Volume 3, right? And that is the perimeter, setting the perimeter scenario. And I have never played a combat game, and I am just now opening up the game itself. So I have already set up the game according to this part of the game as much as I could without knowing what the rules are. So what I want to do now is I want to learn the game. And the way we're going to learn the game is we're going to learn the rules of play first, and then we'll go into the combat rules or the series rules. I'm not going to go through every page of this, but I'm going to kind of show you how I learn these games and see if you guys learn the same way. Do you guys think there's a different way that I could be learning it and it might help? Give me some ideas on how you guys learn the game. But here's the first thing I do is I look at the table of contents, and what we're going to do, we're going to pull up. I've got the rules right here. You can download these online, so I'm not doing anything crazy, right? We have the rules here, but here are the rules. So the first thing I do is I look at the table of contents, right? And I just kind of give it a quick glance. What's in the table of contents? How's it outlined? Those sorts of things. And I just kind of, like I said, quickly glance through it. I'll read the introduction quickly. May not read every single line because I don't do that. But then the definitions, this is kind of the thing that most of us are going to know right offhand. We're not going to really have to worry about it this much because, look, a couple of things. Most war games definitions kind of transfer over into each other. And so with that being said, activate, there's certain units activated, the board, character in this thing is the pieces, D6, that's self-explanatory. Enemy, friendly, impulse, and impulse. So each turn of the game is broken down into 4 impulses. All characters will act on impulse 1 before moving to impulse 2. So that's something that, as a definition, impulse in this game can mean something different than an impulse in, say, Breakout Normandy, that sort of thing. Initiative value, the numerical value on the friendly or enemy card that determines the order in which the teams will be activated. And then it tells you to go to Rule 5 to check that out. But I don't do that right away. I'll show you when I go do that and how I do that. The leadership rating of a character. This is the distance in hexes from a leader that he may influence. So LDR range. So again, that's pretty, everybody's got a range of communication. It's just, in certain games, it's just whether you're in the hex, combat commander, if you're in a certain range of self-explanatory. Line of sight, we all know what that is. Map, morale check. So a check that must be taken under certain circumstances. It's just like any other morale check of any other game that we play. Then there's a morale state, indicator of the psychological state of the character. There are 7 different morale states that a character may be in, and they are positive to negative. So they go from positive to negative. Berserk, aggressive, bold, normal, cautious, shaken, and rout. So that's kind of different. That's something you need to know, and that's why the definition's there. And so you learn something as I just learned. Rally check, an attempt to rally. That's pretty self-explanatory. A team. Each side characters are divided into teams, which are used to organize movement order. Friendly teams are section leader, Bren group, rifle group, and command group. And enemy teams are green, blue, yellow, dark gray, brown. And I'm sure that's how they go about moving them on the board and that sort of thing. Troop quality check, similar to the morale check, but used when a character is performing certain actions. So I would think that if somebody wants to sprint across a road or something, they probably have to pass that check, but we'll find that out a little later too. Troop quality, a number representing the combat effectiveness of an individual character. Turn, pretty self-explanatory. A weapon skill, a number representing a character's skill with a particular weapon. The number may be modified by the target's order. So, of course, it's just one of those things that probably on the counter, then you're going to flip a card and kind of do that. Wound morale check, see how severe the wound is, and then other things here. So there is a rule here called Rule of 0, which I didn't know. Anytime the character's chance of success against a TQ, which is troop quality, or a WS, which is a weapon skill, is less than 0, there's still a chance of success. The initial die roll must be a 0. To confirm success, make a TQC, which is a troop quality check, and the troop quality for this check is modified by the value less than 0 that the initial chance of success, and it's listed below, and they kind of go through that. So you can always make things happen. It's just going to be hard to make things happen. So if the chance of success is so low that the modified TQ becomes less than 0, then it is an automatic failure. So, but at least there's a rule of 0 there. Game components, it tells you about the stuff that's in the game. We all see that and can do that. And now here is my meat and potatoes of a game. And that is the sequence of play. And so we're going to go through the sequence of play of combat here. And we are going to kind of show you how I learned this and kind of see if you guys do it any differently or that sort of thing. So the first thing is step 1, friendly card phase. So if the player does not currently have any cards in his hand, he may draw 1 card from the friendly orders deck. See rule 5.1. So I will now go to 5.1. Order cards that are played to the initiative track generally have an effect for the whole turn. If the order card states an effect on the random character in a turn, the player assigns equal value to the members of the team and rolls 1d6 to determine. Oh, that's 5.1.1. I guess it should go to 5.1. Sorry. There are 3 friendly. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. There are 3 types of friendly cards: discard cards, order cards, and event cards. The main things to be aware of are the initiative values and the card text. So initiative values, there are 4 of these, and they apply to the 5 sections that make up your squad. So you can notice the area down here, that is the initiative section. Initiative is determined in order from low to high. In other words, the team, friendly or enemy, with the lowest initiative will get to act first every impulse. Should 2 teams have the same initiative, the player picks which side or picks which section will go first and win. So card text, this determines additional effects that occur during the turn. Discard cards do not have any effect other than the initiative values. So you'll see where it says discard on the one on the left here, and then there's an order card on the one on the right here. Discard do not have any effect when played. They may, okay, so discard cards do not have an effect when played to the initiative track. They may instead be discarded during a turn to use the effects described in the text. So like Lucky Bounce, you can reroll a single grenade attack. Order cards always apply the text, and when played to the initiative track, okay, I'm sorry. Order cards always apply the text when applied to the initiative track, and they have an immediate effect, right? So each turn, the friendly player, you must play a single card from his hand. Each turn, the friendly player must play a single card from his hand to the initiative track. This helps to determine the order that the teams perform the action. A single card's initiative values will be listed in 4 impulses of the turn, or will be used for the 4 impulses of a turn. There are only 2 ways to receive new cards. If at the start of the turn you have no cards in your hand, you may draw 1. A friendly character who successfully plans a plan order will add equal cards to the character's LDR. Cards generated by plan orders are subject to that. So then I read 5.1 and I just go back up here, right? And I just read through it quickly and do that. Number 2, the player then adds his hand any cards placed aside in the previous turn after a successful plan order, 7.12. So again, I would come back down here and go read 7.12, which is right here. This marker has 000 on it. Normally, a player may only receive new order cards if he has no cards in his hand to start the turn. The plan order allows the player the possibility to draw additional cards. Certain characters have leadership rating. These characters may perform a plan order. A character with this order may not move during any impulse, but may spot or duck back. At the end of the turn during step 5C, the player makes a TQC for each character with a plan order. For each character that passes the TQC, the player draws a number of cards equal to the commander's LDR. Those cards are placed to one side. They will be added to the player's hand the following turn. So now we get an example. So Colonel Frost has an LDR of 5, the black number, as shown by the white letter in the black box, right? So we didn't know what that was because we didn't, but now we know what that is. If Taylor takes a plan order and passes, so if Taylor takes a plan order and passes a TQC during step 5C by playing an 8 or less, then the player will receive 5 cards. These cards are placed to the one side and use the following turn. So then again, we come back up to here. Cards in excess of 5 are discarded. The player must now play 1 card from his hand to the initiative track. So again, we go back and that goes 5-1 and it tells you what to do in 5-1. So it takes us back to the initiative track. If the friendly order card played has the word event on it, then the player immediately rolls a 1d10 and consults the scenario event list in the scenario book. So that's over here. Here's the scenario book. And the event list is listed right here at the very top of that. So say you roll a 5 or 6, incoming, roll a d6 and place that many 105 rounds, roll another d6 for each round and place in hexes listed in the scenario rules. So just something that you do there. So that's step 1. Then step 2, friendly order phase. The player now assigns orders to each of his characters. 7.0. So we come back down to 7.0 and friendly order phase. And so we talk about aimed fire, suppressive fire. These are all different things that they can do. Run and gun, sneak, evade, sprint, charge, grenade. Smoke grenade, run and gun, plan. So then we get to the plan part, right? And then it goes down to reload, medical. So you can do all these things and it kind of talks about it, right? So you go look at that. Enemy. So then I do this for each step, right? I just go through step 3, enemy card order phase. The enemy may move or fire with his vehicles. So it says 21.5. So again, we'll scroll down here. This is one reason I love doing rules in reading a rule book, because I like to flip through and be able to take care of things the way that they're done that way. So we look down here, we go 21.5, which is moving enemy vehicles. And then it tells you about enemy vehicles used. And so it goes right back there and tells you how to do that. So that's how I learn. I try to learn the game through the sequence of play and kind of step through it and kind of walk through that. So then after reading the sequence of play, then I kind of come through and that's when I'll glance order cards. I'll read about order cards. This is a good rule book because there's not a lot of text and it gives you plenty of examples. Then I'll look at the markers, see what those all are. And then, so I just kind of flip through here. I will read most of these just because once you read them, then that's the only way you're going to be able to play. Then you can look at, then I come down here and you can look at the characters. So there's a picture of the character, the name. We already found out that the black box here, that's the LDR. So some characters have a leadership value. In this example, Colonel Frost has a leadership of 5. This is used when performing a plan order or another character is performing a rally order. Over here, the troop quality of the character is an 8. And then weapon skills. So he's got a Sten submachine gun, grenades, and a 45 pistol. And then the T means he's tough plus a medic. This indicates combined skills of tough and medic. Tough enables a character to draw an additional card when wounded. And medic enables a character to perform medical aid. And then calm, this is a team that the character belongs to. Colonel Frost is part of the command team, and so on. So you can kind of learn enemy characters. Got a picture, got a name. Troop quality of the character is a 5. Weapon skills, so they have a KAR 98K, and then the grenades tells you their weapon skill, which team they're on, because I'm sure that's how they're activated. And then each enemy character is double-sided. It shows the character, excuse me, is either known or unknown. And that gives you kind of fog of war there. I'm sorry, we'll go back up here to the top. Each friendly character is double-sided. It shows the character is either hidden or spotted. Each scenario will specify when characters are hidden or spotted at the beginning of the scenario. Hidden friendly characters may become spotted by an enemy character for a variety of reasons. Spotted characters may become hidden if they use a hide order, they are in cover, and they pass a TQC. So back is hidden, front is spotted. So now my thing is how do you tell the difference? So what's different? Right? So how do you tell the difference? The counters look the same. I must be missing something maybe. So I'd have to figure that out because those all look the same to me. So how would I know which ones? Yeah, I don't know. We're going to have to look at that. So then we're going to come over here, initiative track example, and it's kind of go through, tells you how to do the initiative track. And then we just come down and do the enemy orders. Now, I'm sure since this game is kind of an impulse, you go, you go, they go, you go, they go. You're going to have to make sure you understand what all these things are, because the enemy is going to be told what they do by the card, right? So it's going to be, depending on your stance, it's going to tell you what they're doing and that sort of thing. So we'll have to learn more about that. Then we've got enemy orders. Then we come down here to terrain. The maps are very good, and terrain basic. Look, you just read about that, go through that. There's some really nice examples of line of sight. We'll see. We'll just take a look at this first one here. Schultze number 3 is in hex 2833. That's this hex down here, which is level 2 because he's up on that ridge there. He does have line of sight to A because he's above these trees, so he can go see that. He does not have LOS to hex B because he's on the same, it's down 1, right? His height advantage allows him to see over the top of the line in hex creates a blind hex. So that's one reason there. He does not have LOS to C. The building hex blocks the, so we go to C. So if you go through there, the building hex right there blocks it. So you get the idea, line of sight and how they do that. Firing, we talk about how each weapon's fired and when they fire and that sort of thing. So again, this is how I learn a game. I go through the sequence of play first, and then we kind of go over each of the games. Now, as soon as I feel like I can get it on the table and start pushing counters, I will start doing that just to get the play started. And if I goof up, I goof up. But that way I try to get things going as quickly as I can. So this rule book looks pretty good. I love an index. So we will be playing this. I will be learning this quickly and trying to get it on the table and played as quickly as possible. So tell me what you guys think. How do you guys learn? Is that the way you guys learn? If not, let me know how you guys learn, and maybe I can learn something from you. So we just, again, talk about the sequence of play and how we went through the sequence of play. So I did play another late night gameplay of Trench Raid, and the good news is nobody died, and it was a pretty easy thing to play. I put the wrong slide on here. This is mission 2. We are done with mission 3. It will be uploaded, and you can watch that on Saturday. That will be on there as well. So nobody died. It was a good mission, and it was pretty quick, so the video is not going to be very long when we talk about that. So next week, I will be road tripping, and I will be doing a show, I think. Hopefully, I'm at the hotel or wherever I'm going to be stopping for that night in time, so I can just, I'm taking my laptop. We'll be able to do the whole show from there. So I'm hoping to do that. Next week, we're going to talk about, and while we're talking about that, we're going to talk about what you do for war games when you're on the road. Not just necessarily what do you take a game with you, but Do you take that time to read rules? What do you do when you're road tripping? What do you pack in your bag when it comes to watching the game? Doing all that sort of thing. But so let me know what you guys are thinking there with that. But next week we'll be doing the road trip edition. So we're not going to finish yet. So one of the things we're going to do now is I am going to talk about a couple things that have been I've been looking at in the games, in some of the games. So when you guys play a game, do you guys, there's these books like, so Paths of Glory, and I'm getting ready, like I said, playing Rally the Troops and that sort of thing, right? So there is actually a player's guide for this. And I have the book. I just don't want to ruin the book, so I just made copies and bound it cheaply myself, right? So one of the things that, and the reason I do this is there are certain games, we go back to talking about at the beginning when we talk about the book, right? About things being in play in order for you to have the game go off successfully. And in here, there are some certain plays that you can do that avoid. So there's a couple things that you can do in Paths of Glory. There's this dancing with death, right? So while playing the Guns of August gives the Central Power some advantage in the West, it does create some problems for them in the East, or rather it prevents the CP player from taking any action to correct a flaw in the initial deployment of the Austria-Hungarian army. In the real campaign, the Australians waffled about whether the war should be a small one against the Serbs or a large one against the Russians. Their deployment reflects their hesitancy. The Australian forces opposite the Russians are weak and ill-deployed, and with a dangerous gap between the eastern and northern wings in the Limburg area. This gap beckons the Russians like the inviting eyes of a beautiful woman. That's what they say here in the book. So they tell you how to avoid that. But then they also give you certain openings, right? So some of these guys that play Paths of Glory, it's like a chess game to them. They played so many times that they know the exact ways to open the game and play. So I haven't played Paths of Glory in a while, so I've just been reading kind of up on some of this, because one of the things with Rally the Troops, you don't know who you're going to get. You put it out there that you want to play, and it could be anybody. So if it's somebody who's played a lot, you want to keep from getting just steamrolled right away. So that's why I have these player aids or these player guides. But I was wondering, do you guys use these player guides? Do you buy them when you get a chance to buy them? Do you wish more games had them? Or would you rather just learn on your own? I know the old general magazines, they used to have some write-ups about what was the best play. This thing does one thing. It breaks down every card, tells you when it's more optimal to play the cards and that sort of thing. And I read it, but I don't really pay that much attention to it. And then there's also more when they're adding different cards to the game. I downloaded this off some of the BGG stuff. So there's like assessing the balance of a game. Then there's, the Italian front. It talks about. So I just don't know if do you guys use these type of aids when you're playing a game? Let me know what you guys think with that. Another thing I wanted to talk about was when you guys are looking at purchasing a new game, what is one of the criteria? So again, I think we've talked about this in the past. I'm not, I don't consider myself a collector. I consider myself a player. And again, no shade on the people who collect, but I really try to play the game. So when I'm looking at games to buy, what do you look at? Because I look at things like, am I very interested in the topic? If the designer is well known, do I like his type of games? Because look, there's some games I just don't like the way they're played. Doesn't mean they're not designed well. Doesn't mean they're not a good game. It just doesn't intrigue. It doesn't appeal to me. Atlantic Chase is one of those, right? To me, I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something, but I don't wrap my head around it. So when you guys are looking to buy a game, what do you look at? Uh, what's a non-negotiable with you, right? So a couple of things that I find is I like to go look at the rule books online. And if you're not posting the rule book online, that's that's one of the things that I really look at, because that way I can tell if I'm going to like the mechanics, and if I'm going to like, how the games run, how victory conditions are. And I know back in the day you didn't get to do that. You had to rely on getting the game and hoping it was good. But these games aren't cheap, and now I like to be able to find out exactly what I'm purchasing and doing that. So tell me what you guys look at. What's a non-negotiable for you when you're buying a game? I just thought I'd throw that out there. So, all right, folks, we're at like 45 minutes. You're probably tired of hearing me. Did you like this type of show? Uh, Look, I'll be honest with you. It's hard to come up with topics every week. And from a selfish standpoint, I want to learn how to play combat, and this is just a way to get me fired up to learn the rules. I've read the book. I really like how Mark heard the conversation. So I hope we're not losing it here. It looks like I got very low power here, but well. So, folks, just do me a favor. Go check out Cardboard Commander. Do all the YouTube stuff. Do all that thing. Hopefully, we'll talk to you soon. Leave a message down below. Send me a note, do all that stuff. And until next time, everybody, be kind, be safe. Happy wargaming.